Hi everybody, this is Mr. Roche. We're here with Java, and we are learning to program, a kind of an interactive game like something like Flappy Bird. And to start off with, we are trying to set up like a little world that looks cool. And one of the things that seemed like fun to do would be to have some clouds in the sky, okay, for our line, okay. And this is a way to like kind of learn how to make an object. And what's going on here is I have one cloud object that I'm running a bunch. I have different instances of the object, but they each can run the same picture, and that's really cool. And I can do things with them, like I can resize them and have them go at different speeds and things like that, which is fun. So it gives it a kind of a cloudy look. Okay, but for tonight, what I want is not a million clouds. I just want one cloud. Okay, so that's really what we're looking for. Let me show you like what it should look like when you get done. Okay, I just want one little cloud to show up, and it doesn't have to move or anything like that. But if you can get a cloud to show up, that would be tremendous. So let's look at how we're going to do that. So at the end of last class, we had three different classes. We had a game runner, which is going to start a game for us. We have the game window, which is like the big piece of software to kind of control the game and make the objects and stuff like that. And we made a kind of a parent class called screen object, which has a good amount of it keeps track of the location and actually the speeds of the object. And it has an ability to draw, and we're going to kind of work with this and hopefully be able to use it in a good way. Okay, we're sort of experimenting with it. But using this, what we're going to do is we are going to go and make a class for cloud. And so there it is. So I'm just going to go like this, make a class called cloud. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it extends screen object. Okay, so now it's a child of screen object, and it has all of its kind of powers and things like that. Okay, now let's look at screen object for a second and see what we got to do. So screen object, push this over a little bit. Basically, screen object has a constructor. We were using kind of this constructor here where we took the we don't do anything about speed yet, but let's not worry about that right now. But we have an x and a y and a width and a height. Okay, that's the thing. We want that bounding box, which was our original concept, right? So what's going to have to happen here is that we're going to need a cloud to do some stuff and figure out the bounding box as it relates to the actual object on the screen. Okay, so we are going to have to make a constructor. Let me see. So basically, as always, we need like data. Okay, and we're going to need constructors. I don't know if we need like a bunch, but we could have one or many. And we're going to need behaviors or methods, okay? And definitely for sure we're going to need a public cloud constructor, okay? And that's going to have to take in like the int x, okay? We're going to have to set these up, right? We're going to take in an int y, okay? We're going to have to take in the b width and the b height here, we don't really know yet because of the picture, okay? Because it's a picture. So what we're going to do is we're going to take in a string, okay? Which is going to be like the file name, okay? Yeah, and then want to take in also like one of the things about the pictures are that some pictures are very big and we might want to resize them. So I might set up a thing for like its max width, okay? And then I might also set up I'm gonna need, I think I want to link to like the game window so I know how big the window, because remember how it can stretch things out. The clouds need to know where the window begins and ends so that they can cycle. So I'm gonna go like this and make a game window variable, and I'm gonna pass it to it, GW, something like that. So this is basically the kind of data that I need. Okay, so let's make some data fields for this. Okay, and class data things are called fields. So we'll go like this, and we'll say int like xloc. You guys have this, right? Oh no, we're not going to care that because that gets carried up in screen object. That's cool. Maybe I want to. I don't know if I even need to keep the file name. I might keep the minimum width. Okay, or max width. Max width. I'm definitely going to keep the game window. And it's like my game window, my GW, let's call it like that. It's easier. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to keep. I don't want to keep the file name so much as the picture. And Java has a class called image, which we're gonna keep. Okay, so I'm gonna call this like my pic. Okay. So we have these pieces of data, okay, and right now my class does not know what an image is, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to organize imports so I can see it, okay. So now it's happy, okay, and I'm going to see if I can live with that. And this is what's interesting here is that we're going to use X and Y as being maintained by the parent, and then the rest of this stuff's going to be maintained by the child, okay. So let's see how we're going to do that, okay. So first thing we have to do is we have to call up the constructor of the parent to store like the X and Y values. And what we're going to do is we're going to use, before we used a command called this to use a constructor that's on the same level or in the same class. But I'm going to use another word. This is a special word called super. Okay, and you can only use this once in the beginning of the constructor, and it's going to ask you're going to ask the parent constructor to get called up and like do stuff. Okay, so let's look at the screen up constructor. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm actually sort of calling up this. Okay, see screen object. When I say super, and this is a parent, it's going to call up this. So I'm going to send it. I know easily I can send it to X. That's that, right? I can send it to Y. That's good. And I don't know the width and the height yet, and that's sort of a problem, okay? So I'm going to go like this right now, and I'm going to punt, and I'm just going to say like 10 and 10. I'm just going to go like default values for default for width and height, okay? That's what's going on. We're just going to like do this until we figure out what's going on, okay? And let me see. Let me see if screen it's this thing set for this, okay? So we can actually set the width and height here, which is okay because we're going to need to do it, okay, eventually. And this will help with like the drawing window and stuff like that, right? So let's see. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Okay, and now the biggest problem we have is we have to like load our image. Okay, so let me see. There's different ways to do this, but I'm going to make a file. I'm going to make like a routine for this because this is like kind of an awkward, big, hairy thing to do. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say load image, okay? And I'm going to send it. Oh, we should also save the game window right away. Okay, so we should save the stuff we're going to save. So we got super, okay, which takes care of X and Y. That's cool. File name we're going to use in a second. We want to save the min width, okay, the max width. So we're going to go max width equals MW. Okay, and if I store these, then I can use them in other routines. And like my GW is going to equal GW. Okay, so that stuff's saved. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the image based on the file name. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, so basically what's going on is that I have my file over here, and it's inside the Flappy Lion project. Okay, and it's not in the source part, so that when the program runs and it creates the object, the bytecode stuff, it can find like Happy Cloud and it can run it. Okay, so this is helping out the runtime environment and the virtual machine, knowing that this is just right on the project level. Okay, so I got to make a load image thing. So I'm going to say this is a private function. Okay, private method. Okay, it's going to go void, and it's just going to be like load image. Okay, so you can have public and private behaviors. This is like a behavior of it, but it's not really like the one that everybody gets to see. This is like a background thing. It's like loading an image. Okay, so it takes a string, which is the file. Let's call it like F. Okay, and we're going to do some damage down here. So let's go see what we got to do. Okay. Looking at a bunch of different examples, it seems like what we want to do is the basic command is kind of twofold. There's a class called image icon which you can use to kind of quickly kind of open up a file and get the image loaded the way we need to. Okay, so what's going to happen is one way to do this is I'm taking this from another piece of code here. Is that basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an image icon, which is a kind of a helper thing because it has this thing called get image. And I'm going to load it into my pick. My pick is a variable. It's a class thing that I need to keep around. Okay, and I'm going to do that. Okay, this is sort of basically all you need, but we can add some stuff to it to kind of figure out what's going on. And what I want to do is I want to create a kind of Boolean here to see if things are good, okay? Because I can run the program if I don't get a picture, I could figure out something to do, you know. So I'm gonna go like that, and I'm gonna go like this, loaded. Okay, so I'm gonna make this variable called image loaded, and I'm gonna run this. So I'm gonna return a Boolean to it, okay? And I'll make a Boolean here. Let's go Boolean, okay, okay. And OK is going to be initially false until everything's OK. Okay, so I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to, and what I'll do is I'll return OK. If everything's OK, it'll be true, and everything will be like, you know, not OK. OK, it'll work. So what I'm going to do here is I can do like a try. We were doing these tries before because this is something you might want to try. And I'm going to go here and do the try. Okay. And if I get to this part of the image loading part, I'm going to say OK equals true. Okay, so that way then everything's okay, right? If it's not, I'm going to catch the exception. And I can like do like a print line or something like that. I can do you know, problem loading. I'll say like what the file name is. And when you're doing these error messages, you want to know, like, you know, you want to say where you are, okay? And load image like that, okay? You know. So you want to be as you know, specific as possible. Okay, so that what's going to happen there then, we'll know if the thing worked or not. Okay, that's sort of what's happening. Let me see. I'm not using the CSS. Okay, that's right. Okay, but now we can do some checking. Okay, so the thing is, if everything's okay, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the size of the image is. Okay, and we're going to like resize it and see if it goes to a if it's not good enough for the max width, something like that. Okay, so maybe we'll take that up in a kind of a second video. So right now we got this, we got a constructor, we're like waiting, and then we'll try to get things loaded. Okay, so